Today on Dad's Guide to the Universe,
3 of our favorite one-pot meals.
one pot means a lot more than just less dishes. It also means more flavor.
A flavor that can be both complex and 100% comforting.
The recipes can be technical and elegantly simple,
Because you're actually using multiple cooking techniques all in the same pot.
simultaneously melding ingredients together layer by layer.
Until you end up with a completely unique flavor profile.
It also is kind of a cool advantage to only have to wash one pot.
That is nice,
That's
too.
pretty cool.
First up, a proper Texas chili.
The chili starts out with a fine dice of our core vegetable trinity. Onion,
You almost done?
poblano pepper, and red bell pepper. Next, we're gonna roughly chop up some chuck.
The muscle fibers in this are really pronounced, but we're gonna cook it low and slow, and it's gonna fall apart and become tender and delicious.
Those are the fun chunks to find in chili. It's like finding the Fritos that are stuck together. That's awesome.
You wanna salt every single layer when you're doing a dish like this.
Pepper.
Next, let's de-stem and de-seed our guajillo chilies. This is the second most common Mexican chili and has a Scoville rating of 2,500 to 5,000 Scoville heat units.
And these really differentiate the flavor between regular chili and Texas chili.
Now we're gonna sear our meat. This will help us develop our first level of flavor. Searing introduces 2 things: the Maillard reaction and the fat from your meat. The Maillard reaction essentially supercharges the flavor of the meat itself.
Whoa, look at the crust. That is flavor.
The fat will linger in the pan and help us build that meaty flavor in our next stage of cooking.
See all that brown goodness? That's flavor.
They call that deliciousness fond, and we're gonna deglaze the pan several times throughout the cook to pick it up, put it back in the flavor of the chili.
We'll then swap in our ground beef.
Actually gonna break it apart a little bit and then just leave it be for a minute. You don't need to cook it all the way through. We just wanna get some really good color on it.
What's awesome about these one-pot dishes is you're deliberately building flavors hour upon hour. So if you were to eat chili right after you brown all this stuff and put a bunch of tomatoes and just heat it up, it's actually not gonna taste like chili. It's gonna taste like tomato sauce, it's gonna taste like ground beef, all separated. But when you let it go and simmer it, you're gonna have a unique, beautiful flavor.
We'll take out all the meat and throw in our vegetable trinity. These veggies will get coated in that insane beef fat and start to release their own moisture.
We are not looking to cook these fully. What we're looking to do is just get them a little bit soft.
This helps concentrate their flavor, which is called sweating. Everything will get a bit soft and start to pick up what's on the bottom.
Now, if you look at the bottom of the pan here, guess what? Everything is gone now. All those brown bits have been picked up by the vegetables. I don't even have to deglaze this pan.
Who would have figured this would smell so good?
I mean, everyone that's ever made this.
People who eat chili?
Yeah.
Anyone who's awake and has ever cooked anything?
Next thing we're gonna do though is we're gonna add some garlic. You add garlic toward the end, you're only gonna wanna get it fragrant, which means you're only gonna cook it for a minute or so, and that's all.
And we're ready for some more spice.
We're gonna add the ancho chili now.
Hit it.
You want me to hit it or put it in there?
Put it in the pot!
Really pronounced chili flavor, but it's also smoky. Oh my God, that smells amazing.
You got your secret weapon over there?
Now we're gonna add masa harina, which is
Corn flour. The abuelas, they would throw tortillas in here, actually old tortillas. Corn tortillas, yep.
Every chili or stew needs a form of thickening agent, and that's what this is gonna do for us.
Now it's time to get things braising so our meat can cook and the flavors can concentrate.
For that, we're adding in crushed and canned tomatoes,
What do you always do to your tomatoes?
salt,
Why?
because otherwise they suck.
a half a quart of chicken stock, and a full quart of water. Once that gets to simmer, we're gonna add in some more fun.
Guajillo chilies, Mexican oregano,
What makes it Mexican?
deliciousness. All right, we're at a simmer. Add our meat back in. Ooh, yeah. Back in with the chuck. Meat juices. Now we're gonna go ahead and put on the big green egg. Big green egg is rolling at 350, which is high enough to keep this simmering, but without burning it. We're gonna reduce it, get it thick, and we're also gonna absorb some of that wood fire flavor from the charcoal.
Wood fire flavor.
Goodbye, friend. If it started to reduce, we're gonna add the lid and finish it cooking.
Yep.
Oh yeah, lid. Probably a pretty good time to point out something that's missing from this chili.
What's that?
Beans.
Oh yeah. Why is that, Mark?
Because in Texas, they have a saying, if you know beans about chili, you know chili ain't got no beans.
So tell us what you think in the comments below. Beans or no beans?
I'll kick it off. Beans.
All right, first one pot dish, our Texas chili.
Oh my God. Again, you don't want it to disintegrate. This is perfect.
That's chili. What do we got up next?
One pot macaroni and cheese with pancetta and toasted breadcrumbs.
All right, let's do
On
it.
the grill. First thing that we need to do is shred the most important ingredient.
Cheese!
Our first cheese is cheddar. This will give us some sharpness and melt like a dream. But remember, don't use an aged cheddar because they don't have enough moisture. And our second is a classic American cheese, which might be the meltiest thing on earth.
You want to grate your own cheese because if you get pre-shredded cheese, they put anti-caking agents in there, and that anti-caking agent keeps the cheese sauce from becoming one cheesy, gooey goodness.
I'm not anti-cake. Freaking love cake. Everyone loves bacon mac and cheese. We love pancetta mac and cheese.
It's cured just like bacon. It's pork belly just like bacon, but it's not smoked.
We're searing off our pancetta first to A, get them super crispy for texture later, and B, because we want that pancetta fat flavor coursing through our mac and cheese.
All right, our pancetta is crisp and we've rendered out a little bit of fat. We're gonna toast the breadcrumbs in the pancetta fat.
That's dangerous.
One pot at its best.
Yeah, nice.
Texture is an underrated quality of good mac and cheese, and these breadcrumbs are gonna give us great contrast.
Just looking for a little bit of color, and you can actually smell when it's done. You just want to smell toast. Oh, man. Stop flipping that guy around, because that shouldn't be in there. All right, we're gonna put our pot on the grill. First in, noodles. Just enough water to cover the noodles. All right, we're gonna salt it, let it take a nap for a few minutes.
We'll crush up our cooled down pancetta. Those will act like porky flavor crystals in every bite.
We're using the evaporated milk method in honor of Kenji Lopez Alt's recipe. This is gonna create emulsified structure for our cheese to cling to in its melted state.
Put in the salt and pepper 3 chili blend from Spiceology, our famous blend, and some paprika.
All right, need to bring this up to a simmer. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Time to drop in our cheese. In goes the pancetta.
Gently stir together without fainting. My God.
We'll give that a final garnish of our toasted breadcrumbs, and wow.
This dish is 100% comfort, and it's got pancetta flavor riding through it like a freight train.
My stomach's actually growling right now. What's up next, Mark?
How do we move on from
We move on. Guinness braised short ribs.
Starting with our short rib, we're going to salt every single side.
The salt itself will draw out some of the excess moisture, which will help us create a better sear later on.
Kosher salt is always ideal because it's a larger size, consistent shape, and a lower salinity level, so you can salt pretty aggressively. Cracked black pepper can usually burn in the searing process, but because we're doing it fairly quickly, the pepper gets toasted and develops a great aroma. Here's a nice trick. Dusting the meat with flour will help thicken things later on. The rendered fat will combine with the flour and provide us with a sort of improvised roux. Time to sear all sides. You're looking for color and texture and no burning.
Don't crowd that pan. You'll end up steaming more of the meat than searing it.
If you could only have one cut of beef, one specific cut of beef, the rest of your life, what would it be?
It might be this one. Look at the marrow in the bone. Starting to pop out.
Sweet heavens, that smells good. Some people say that searing the meat before you braise it seals in the juices. Those people would be exceptionally incorrect.
Incorrect.
Because all the juices are still going to come out. What you're doing is creating a layer of flavor.
As soon as the meat easily releases from the bottom, it's telling you it's ready to flip.
Go right in with the veg.
We've got another classic veggie trinity. In this case, mirepoix.
Season every layer.
That's going in to sweat and soak up the fat.
So Mark's gonna scrape up all those little brown bits in there. Oh my gosh, all you're doing is getting flavor.
Remember deglazing? Well, it's happening again with the steam coming off our veggies.
Next, very important part, we're actually gonna add some tomato paste.
Concentrated tomato flavor is almost on the same spectrum as meat. You can get a complex and deep taste.
All right, the next thing we're gonna add is the key, I think, to the entire dish, which is a stout. We love using Guinness.
Guinness?
Nope, right here.
That Guinness is going to help us deglaze the pan. It also adds sweetness, bitterness, and some subtle chocolate and coffee flavors. Umami, bitches.
We'll bring this to a simmer and then add back in our short ribs.
Perfect.
Load them up.
To make sure our meat is covered, we're gonna add in just enough chicken stock to submerge.
We're going to add some bay leaves and some fresh thyme.
And it's braising time. We're rolling at 350 degrees, lid off for 1 hour, and then lid on until probe tender.
All right, let's eat.
Which one of these are you most excited to try right now?
This one.
Actually, I know you're a big chili guy.
Let's do chili. First thing I taste, all the different chilies. Guajillo, ancho, poblano.
And I just had a piece of that chuck in there. It fell right apart in my mouth, which is awesome because it braised for, what, 3 hours, 4 hours? You know what? I want to try the short ribs next.
Oh my God, Faye.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, Mark. That's a great bite.
That is a varsity bite right there.
No, I appreciate you. All right. That is great.
This is my favorite broth spoon. We made creamy stovetop pancetta mac and cheese in a grill with toasted breadcrumbs.
Oh my God.
The beauty of the one pot meal, I've got pancetta all the way through this.
You know what I'd call this? Pancetta cheese and mac. Because it sure does taste like pancetta in this thing.
Mac and pancetta.
Mac and pancetta.
Is this,
Oh my God,
is this
so
bite
delicious.
is this bite too big?
No, go for it.
Faye, you want to know how to make a 2-pot meal?
Yeah. I knew you were gonna do that.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. You gotta try the beef with the mac and cheese.
Okay.
That's a game changer.